Up and running here. How's our cameras looking? Okay, still working on it. Okay. Hi, folks. If you tuned in, we've got our cameras running. And again, if you're new to the show, we have there it is. Okay, we got a bunch of cameras working all together, and so we got to get everything working. So welcome. Glad you could be here. I am Dr. Joe Esposito. If you're first time joining us, this is going to be a fun experience for you. It always is. I talk for 24 minutes. You, whatever platform you're on, can type in any health question you might have. At the 24-minute time, I'm going to take a break. John, my producer, is going to read me any questions you typed in. I'm then going to answer your questions. I'm going to do another 24 minutes. I'm going to answer your questions again. This is an amazing opportunity for you to have those health questions answered. You just don't know where to turn, because I hear it every day. Patients say, I talk to my doctor. They don't know much about nutrition. They don't know much about anything except what they do, which is fine. I mean, but you need to have that other source. What alternative options are there? Hopefully I have some for you. So 24 minutes, answer questions, 24 minutes, answer questions. If you're listening live, please put in hashtag live. It is 1:01 on August 12th right now, 2024. If you're listening on a replay, put in hashtag replay. And also put in where you're from. I was curious to see where everybody's from. That has nothing to do except my curiosity. So just tell me where you're from. I'm not going to stalk you. Don't worry. So I'm ready to go when you are, John. So here we go. Okay. Ready? Hey, folks. Dr. Joe Esposito here. I am glad you're with me today because I'm going to talk about today, we're going to talk about pain. And again, I'm board certified in pain management. But how your digestive system relates to your level of pain. You may never thought about this. But I've been in practice about 40 years now, and I've seen, I'm going to guess, several tens of thousands of patients in my career. And major reason we see patients is pain. The number two reason we see patients is digestive problems. And many times, almost every time, the two are related. And if you have pain issues, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, sciatica, I'm going to pretty much promise that no one has ever talked to you about your digestive system and how it's linked to your pain. So let's talk about that. In your gut, you have a bunch of nerve endings. And you have a nervous system called the enteric nervous system. That's another word you probably never heard before. So lots of new words today. So you have your central nervous system, which is your brain, your spinal cord. Your peripheral nervous system, which are the nerves that come off your brain and spinal cord that control your arms, your legs, your heart, your lungs, your stomach. And then you have something called the enteric nervous system. Your digestive system is so complex that it has its own nervous system. Now, that enteric nervous system is hooked into the other ones. They're all connected to each other. But the enteric nervous system is so vital and so complex because you eat, let's assume you're going to eat a cheeseburger on white bread and a milkshake. Of course, not the ideal meal. But somehow, your amazing body is able to take this pile of chemicals and convert it into eye tissue or hair or blood or make the nervous system work. So the nervous system has to be so complex that it can break down these components, reassemble them, and then use them for parts elsewhere. And that's why you have your own nervous system. And it's connected mainly to the brain by something called the vagus nerve, V-A-G-U-S. So the vagus nerve and the enteric nervous system is hooked into the peripheral and central nervous system, and they all work together. It's really, there's nothing that we've ever discovered in the universe even close to being as complex as the human brain. We have computers, and we have the internet, and we have satellites. Nothing even comes a fraction as close as to the function of the human brain and nervous system. And so they're connected. And if there's a problem with the digestive system, it can actually cause an inflammatory reaction throughout the body, and that can cause pain or certainly make the pain worse. Also, if you're eating certain foods that can stimulate the part of the nervous system that causes pain, that can be an issue. A good example is caffeine. Caffeine is a real stimulant to the nervous system. I can't do caffeine. I get a headache. Some people, if they have a headache, do caffeine to get rid of the headache. So the nervous system is very complex. And I remember years and years ago when I was in college, there was an article, I think it was in Time magazine actually, and it said, will the brain ever understand the brain? I thought, what a powerful statement. Can we ever understand how we work? I don't know. We're not even close to it yet. But we do know that if the digestive system is flared up, if you're eating certain foods that are inflammatory, it can cause problems. So, spoiler alert, the two foods I want you to cut out of your diet right now that cause the most inflammation in the gut are going to be wheat and dairy products. That's it. 3 minutes in, I'm already telling you wheat and dairy products. Those two, dairy's the number one food allergen, wheat's the number two food allergen. So I give you this challenge. I want you to cut out all wheat and all dairy for 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks. At the end of 2 weeks, go back to eating it. Have some pizza with cheese on it. Have a sandwich. And see how you feel without the wheat and dairy, and see how you feel with the wheat and dairy. No matter what your problem is, even if you don't have any problems, try it and see what happens. Because when patients come to us, they come with us neck pain, back pain, and my team and I are really good at helping people with that. Can't make promises, but we're really good at it. But we do nutrition workup on every single one of our patients. And many times patients say, well, doc, I'm not here for nutrition. I'm here for my sciatica. I'm here for my headaches. I'm here for my numbness in my arm. And I explain to them that the food you eat can either flare up pain or suppress pain in certain places. Turmeric is a supplement that can actually help reduce inflammation. So as part of a pain management protocol, you can do your drugs, you can do your surgeries, you can do your injections, but let's also work from a nutrition standpoint. And turmeric is a wonderful anti-inflammatory. So certain foods, I call them the 7 deadly sins of nutrition, are inflammatory. Alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. I know that's most of your diet, right? But those foods are inflammatory, and if the gut gets inflamed, it can cause the enteric nervous system to communicate with the peripheral and the central nervous system, send messages up to the brain, and cause pain. So we want to bring down that inflammation. Now, I remember years ago, I did a show way back when I got on the radio, well over a decade ago, 14, 15 years ago. And my IT guy at the time said, you said something on the show today that was really profound. And I said, what's that? He said, you don't have to do it all at once. He says, because when I listen to you, he says, you know your stuff, but it can be a little scary, I think, for the average person. So you don't have to do everything all at once. Right? There's a song by the Eagles, Life in a Fast Lane, everything all the time. You don't have to do everything all the time. But let's take little baby steps. And the first step when it comes to pain management would be wheat and dairy products. Let's see what happens. Again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So what? Go back to eating wheat and dairy. Doesn't matter. It's free. See what happens. The other thing that can cause a lot of pain is artificial sweetener, aspartame. Because aspartame has something called aspartic acid. And aspartic acid in small amounts is absolutely necessary for proper function of the body. Aspartic acid in large doses without other amino acids to kind of buffer it can be very painful. Aspartic acid can cause a lot of pain. It actually causes the nerve fibers to fire faster than it's supposed to. And in some cases, it can actually kill the nerve fibers. Aspartic acid in large quantities is dangerous. Same thing with glutamic acid, monosodium glutamate. Monosodium glutamate has over 40 different names. Autolyzed yeast, hydrolyzed vegetable protein. Natural flavor can be monosodium glutamate. So that's why reading labels is really important. So monosodium glutamate and aspartic acid, aspartame, are two of the things I really want you to cut out of your life because they can really increase your pain levels. So just please be careful with them. I don't want you to cut back on, I want you to cut out. And this is why sometimes people get a headache after Chinese food. I can't eat Chinese food, I get a headache. I get tired. Anybody do that? You eat Chinese food, you get tired, and then you get hungry again? It's the monosodium glutamate. Now, pure monosodium glutamate was originally synthesized from seaweed, didn't have the same problems. Now we get it from bacteria, which is actually a waste product of bacteria wasted out of their bodies, being clean here. And that's where we get the glutamic acid from monosodium glutamate. So not the best thing for you. And it's in so many different foods because it's a flavor enhancer. What does that mean? Well, when I went to school, we were taught there were 4 types of taste buds. And in a recent past, we found out there's a 5th. It's called umami. That's a word. Umami taste buds. And it's a savory flavor. And if we give you monosodium glutamate, it stimulates the umami taste buds to make things taste more savory. It makes it taste more. And so you want to eat more. And that's cool. Food science. Food science many times is how do we get somebody to buy more of this food and eat more of this food? Not necessarily health angle from it, but what can we do to get somebody to buy more of our product? So monosodium glutamate is in a lot of different products. Aspartame, of course, that's the go-to artificial sweetener. Not a fan, in case you haven't figured that out yet. I'd strongly advise you avoid it at all costs. I won't eat anything that has artificial sweeteners in it. Now, you can use things like stevia. Stevia is not an artificial sweetener. Stevia comes from the stevia plant. Now, I've done this already. I was in Home Depot one day, and I went into the garden section. They had stevia plants. You can buy them, and it grows as a ground cover. It makes a great ground cover. And the leaves are really tiny. It's about the size of your pinky fingernail, the leaves. And I ripped off a leaf, and I ate it right there in Home Depot, and it was amazingly sweet. So what they do is they extract out the stevia side, it's called, from the stevia leaf, and that's how they get the sweetener. But stevia is okay. Lohan, that's okay. Xylitol, if you do too much of it, you get diarrhea, but that's okay. But aspartame, sucralose, I'm not a fan of. Saccharin, I'm not a fan of. Acesulfame K, you may have seen that word and things don't know what it is. That's an artificial sweetener. So stay away from them because all of those can have negative side effects, but specifically aspartame can increase your pain levels. Sucralose, I won't say the brand name, acts like an endocrine disruptor. It acts like estrogen and can actually cause your body to start laying down fat. And then fat causes your body to produce estrogen, which causes you to lay down fat. So that's why it's hard to lose weight once you're overweight, because you keep producing hormones to make you hold on to the fat. So that's another show for weight loss. But we want to cut out those artificial sweeteners at all costs. Please do. And if you are trying to lose weight, by the way, go to my website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com, and just type in weight loss. And we've done shows on weight loss before, and we kind of lay out the science behind weight loss. It's not about taking a ketogenic diet. It's not about high carbs, low carbs. It's not about taking a shake. All those things might help a little bit short term, but we want to talk about the science of weight loss, and that's really what's important. So you understand what goes on and then how to fix it. It's not hard. All right, so we're talking today, if you're just tuning in, about digestive system and pain control. So one of the things that I see is extremely common in our society is constipation. And you want to go to the bathroom 2 to 3 times a day. That's normal. More than that, you might have things like irritable bowel syndrome. That can be a problem. Less than that, you might not be having proper stool function. Sometimes we don't know what causes it. So let's talk about why the bowels may become constipated and then inflamed, which can cause pain throughout the body. Number one is, of course, your diet, which we're going to cover in just a second. Number two could be a pinched nerve. Nobody really talks about this. The nerves in the low back, as they come out of the spine, control the back, hips, legs, knees, and ankles. So you might have back pain, leg pain, hip pain, knee pain, ankle pain. But the same nerve that comes out of your low back causing back and leg pain also controls your colon, your sex organs, and your bladder. So if you have a pinched nerve in the low back, you might see things like gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, urinary issues, sexual issues for men and women, prostate issues, urinary leakage. Big business, adult diapers. Big business, women over 40 who cough and pee themselves. I didn't know this was an issue. I'm not a woman over 40. And we were talking one day with my doctors, who were both, I have 3 women doctors in my office, and they're over 40. And I said, and they go, oh, all women when they cough pee themselves after 40. And I said, I had no idea. And only one of them had child, so it wasn't just giving birth. And we talked about the nerves in the low back controlling the bladder. And we can actually adjust the bladder. There's actually adjustment we can do for the bladder itself. And many times that helps with the leakage. So if you have this problem, it could be a pinched nerve causing leakage, also going to the colon, which can cause constipation, which can cause inflammation, which can increase overall pain. The other thing we find with digestion is there's a valve in between your small and large intestine. It's right above your right hip, between your belly button and your right hip, and it's called the ileocecal valve. And what happens is you eat food, it goes from your stomach into your small intestine. Small intestine mixes it up, and it makes something called chyme. Now, chyme looks like soup. And the soupy mix goes from your small intestine, the valve opens, the ileocecal valve, it goes into the large intestine, the valve closes. The large intestine drains out the water and packs it and then passes it out. That's normal bowel function. If the ileocecal valve is not opening and closing properly, you can have problems. If it's stuck open, you have diarrhea. Stuck closed, constipation. So many times we have patients with constipation, we can actually adjust the valve. You do it outside the body. It's nothing weird. And we can massage it essentially and try to get it to start opening and closing. And many times with constipation and diarrhea, it works great. It works wonderful with children too. Many times I could even teach the mother or the father how to do this technique. It's not really a chiropractic adjustment. It's a massage technique. And they'll be able to do it to the kid at home when they go to bed at night. And many times after a couple of 10, 20 seconds, everything starts working again. And so if the bowels are working properly, you get rid of that pressure. Because what happens is you eat food, whatever that food is, and it goes into your colon, and your colon starts to expand. And there's nerve endings in your colon called stretch receptors. So the colon starts to expand, and a stretch receptor fires off and then causes the colon to contract, and then you go to the bathroom. And that's perfectly normal. But if you don't have enough stretching, the stretch receptors can't fire off and cause the contraction, and many times that leads to constipation. So what can we do to get these stretch receptors to fire off? You got to eat something called fiber. Now, you've heard of fiber, and you can take supplements that are fiber, and you can take powders that you mix with water and it's fiber. But the best source of fiber is going to be fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. Plants. You can't get fiber from animal products. Meat has zero fiber. Dairy, cheese, butter, yogurt, ice cream, zero fiber. So if you're putting all this stuff in and it's not stretching out the colon properly, it just sits there. And when it sits there, it rots. And when it rots, it can cause inflammatory gases to be released into the body, and that can cause problems. In fact, and we've all known people like this, they just have terrible breath. And there's two types of bad breath. Well, it's like garlic and onions. That's one breath. It could be a rotten tooth, which has a certain smell to it. And then the other one smells like a bathroom. And that's when the food is sitting in the colon and rotting. And those gases are being absorbed into the blood. Then the gases are being exchanged in your lungs, and it comes out your mouth. So you can brush and you can floss. That's not going to fix it. It's the gut. And I know this because if my stomach pushes up against my diaphragm, I might start to burp. I get really hungry when my stomach does this, but my breath stinks. And people close to me, my doctors including, will tell to each other, hey, get your stomach adjusted. Your breath stinks. And it's not an insult. It's a symptom. It's like saying I have a cut and it's bleeding. Something's wrong. If the breath stinks, you may have to get the stomach adjusted. Pull the stomach away from the diaphragm. Work on the ileocecal valve. Check the nerve supply into the bowels. And many times, that solves the bad breath. But more importantly, you start to absorb nutrients and pass out waste products. That's what we're shooting for. The bad breath is nothing more than a symptom. So we all know people like that. Their breath stinks. It's a tough way to bring it up to somebody, of course, but we know that it could be a physical problem, and the fix is usually pretty easy. So if you want to make an appointment to come see us, if you have, let's say, bad breath, or you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, sciatica, stop suffering needlessly. So many patients have come to me in the past 40 years and said, Dr. Joe, why didn't I get here sooner? I hear from chiropractic treatment. I hear about digestive treatments. I hear about supplements, dietary changes. Why didn't I do this sooner? And my answer is always, I don't know. I don't know why you didn't do it sooner. I've been here for 40 years, same place. So if you want to make an appointment, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. We can get you an appointment this week. Whenever you're listening to this week. We can do that. And we accept most insurances. Depends what your insurance covers. We'd have to check your specific policy. We take Medicare. We're very good at car accidents. I teach other doctors and lawyers and insurance companies how to deal with car accidents. So we're really good with that. And if you're ever in an accident, come see us immediately, even if there's no pain. Because pain can take up to 6 months to show up. And believe me, with the insurance game that's played out there, the insurance company is going to do everything they can to not pay you. And one of the tricks they use is, well, you weren't hurt. You didn't go to the doctor. Well, I didn't have a car. We don't care. I mean, believe me, it's just this horrible game that's played out there, and you're the pawn. So come see us immediately. If you get a call from a doctor or a lawyer saying, come see this doctor or lawyer, it's a scam. I promise you it's a scam. It's a felony if they call you for them. But I've never known anyone to fall for these runners, they're called, or ambulance chasers, and ever get the care they need and the legal representation they need. And there's always lawsuits. There's lawyers getting sued and doctors being sued. Don't fall for that. If you want to come see us, great. If you want me to refer you to another doctor, I will. I know the doctors that are going to do it honestly. So just go to drjoe.com, drjoe.com. Book your appointment right now. And it could be for pain, could be for digestion, could be nutrition. We want to be your doctors. We want to get you well and keep you well. That's my goal. So we're talking about how digestion can affect your pain levels, whatever that pain is. It could be menstrual cramps. If the bowels are compacted and full of fecal matter, it can push against the uterus, and that can cause menstrual cramps. So whatever the pain is, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, headaches, dizziness, we got to fix the gut. My German grandmother, in her wisdom, she was a smart woman, didn't realize it at the time, would always say, if you have something wrong, whether you have a cold or flu or a headache or whatever, you need a physic. A physic is something that's it's a bowel stimulant, it's a laxative. And she'd always say, clean out your guts, clean out your guts. So before we had all the medicine and all the surgery and all the CAT scans and all the MRIs, The treatment was, let's get the bowels moving first, and let's make sure the body is working properly. So if you want to make an appointment, like I said, drjoe.com. I'm happy to see you as a patient, and let's see if we can get to the cause of your problems. So foods can do it. If you're eating high-fat foods, meats, dairy products, eggs, rich desserts, sugary sweets, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, not very high in fiber, and they don't have enough fiber to swell up the colon and cause those stretch receptors to fire off. You're just joining us. We talked about that earlier. And when the stretch receptor fires off, it contracts the colon. So you need to eat fiber. Now, fiber is a two-way street. You need fiber. But if you take, let's say, a concentrated fiber like wheat bran or something like this, and you don't drink enough water, then you can have constipation. Too much of it, but it doesn't swell up enough to move everything through. So if you're going to do fiber, you should do a lot of fluids. Now, the nice part is that Mother Nature handled that for you. If you're going to eat fruits and vegetables, the water's already in there, all included, one little package. And many times with pain management, water is so important because your muscles are like sponges. And if the sponge has lots of water in it, it's nice and soft. But if the sponge dries out, it's kind of hard and crinkly. Well, the muscles don't get really hard and crinkly, but as the muscles contract because they don't have enough water, they can put pressure on the nerves and it can fire off pain signals. Nociceptive fibers, they're called. So if the nociceptive fibers are firing off, that can cause pain, and it could be something as simple as I just don't have enough water. And headaches are a big player with that. Many, many people have headaches because they're simply dehydrated. And all you got to do is drink a little water. Or drink a lot of water, actually. So how much water should you drink? That's a good question. You want to drink enough water so that your pee is clear. When you pee, it should be clear. Now, I recommend you do this, actually. Pee in a cup, a clear glass cup, a glass, and look at it. It should be relatively clear, maybe a little yellow hue to it, but not a whole lot, unless you do B vitamins. Like I take Dr. Joe's B complex every day, and the first or second pee after that, you're going to have yellow in there. That's from the B vitamins. But look at it. Do you have a bunch of stuff floating around in there? Does it smell? Now, if you eat asparagus, it's going to smell sometimes. But does it have an odor to it? These are all signs of health. In fact, I planned on this years ago. I never did it. Do a show on pee health. How much you can tell about your health just from your pee. But your pee should be relatively clear, should be odorless, and not a lot of stuff floating around in it. If it is, it could be a problem. And problems could range anywhere from too much protein in your diet to kidney infections. If there's red in there, it could be blood in the urine. That can be an issue, but it could be caused by different things too. So that's something you want to monitor, that you're drinking enough water. Now, I find if I drink a bunch of water after about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I have to get up and pee all night. So what I do is I drink a lot of my fluids before 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, your time might be different. You can experiment. Stop drinking at 4, stop drinking at 5, stop drinking at 6. And if you keep waking up and peeing, well, cut back a little bit. Drink the water in the morning or in the early afternoon, but you got to find out what time works for you. 3 o'clock's my magic number. And so it's okay to get up and pee, once, maybe twice a night. But if you're getting up a lot more than that every hour, every 2 hours, then it becomes an issue. For men, it could be a prostate issue. For women, it could be a weak bladder. So we always want to try to find out what's going on. So fiber is going to be your friend, and the more fiber you eat and the better the bowels work, the less likely you are to have that inflammatory reaction in the gut, and the less likely you are to have that linked to your pain levels. I've had many, many patients, especially with low back pain. We get them on a good diet. We get them on supplements like Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source. Nitric oxide opens up the blood vessels and increases circulation to every part of the body, including the bowels. And many times just taking supplements alone gets them back on track again. So the minimum supplements I believe everybody should be taking is Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. They're 2 powders. I take a scoop of each. I mix it in a jar with water. Now, my friend Josh tried doing this once, and he took it in a too concentrated form. And he says, oh, my God, it was terrible. I said, you didn't add enough water. Oh, okay. So you could add water. You could add milk, coconut milk, almond milk. Don't use dairy products, of course, because that's one of the things you'd want to stay away from. And you got to see, you want to make sure you have enough fluid in the body to make sure that the body is working the best it possibly can. So do that, and once the bowels start working, you're probably going to be very happy with it. But fruits and vegetables really are going to be the key. If you have enough fruits and vegetables, that's nature's balance right there. and then check the nerve supply as well. I'm almost to a break point. Wow, can't believe that. If you have any questions, folks, send them to me through my website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. It says you want to chat, send me your questions. If you want to make an appointment to come see us, which really is the best thing you can do, let's do an analysis. Let's find out what we need to do to keep you tuned up. Just go to drjoe.com. Right there on the homepage, about almost on the top, it says book an appointment, pick your clinic, make an appointment. We'll get that set up for you. And follow me on social media. It's Dr. Joe Esposito. Just search Dr. Joe Esposito. On Facebook, it's the Dr. Joe Esposito. And follow us because we post health tips every single day. On YouTube, of course, you get the long version and the short version. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, drjoe.com. We'll be right back. Let me see what that noise was. Was it in there? Where'd it come from? Okay. Josh, why don't you go take a look there? All right, go ahead, John. I'm sorry. Yeah. We had a noise here in the studio. We didn't know what it was. So I said, let's go check that out. What do you got?
I'm having my gallbladder removed in 2 weeks. I don't have stones, but it's not functioning. I don't eat fried or heavy fattening foods. Any tips on what my diet should be now? What about enzymes?
Yes, yes, and yes. Okay, if it's not functioning, again, I'm not a surgeon, so I can't speak for your gallbladder. But without your gallbladder, you're not going to be able to digest fats properly. And this is a beef I have with my medical colleagues, is they'll pull out your gallbladder and send you home. That's it. You're done. But what do I need my gallbladder for then? Why do we even have it? Your gallbladder stores something called bile, and bile is dish detergent. And it squirts dish detergent into your colon and breaks up fats. So if you're going to have it removed, I strongly advise you send me an email through the website, drjoe.com. I'm going to send you a link to a product that we have. It's not my product, it's another company. And it's bile. It's bile in a pill, basically. And it's going to help you digest your fats for the rest of your life. I have had countless patients over the years have their gallbladder removed, sick all the time, and I put them on this pill, and like 3 or 4 days later, they'll call me up and say, oh, my God, why didn't the doctors tell me about this? They're really cheap, too. Why didn't doctors tell me about this? This is amazing. I can digest my food again. And my pain levels are going down because the bowels are working again. But you definitely want to stay away from, I would stay away from all animal products once the gallbladder's removed, and certainly anything deep fried or anything greasy like that. You know, French fries, onion rings, meat. That's just the game you're going to have to play. I have to wear glasses. I don't like it, but I have to. It's the game I have to play. So if you're going to have your gallbladder removed, make sure you email me. I'll send you the link to the product, and then just be careful with the animal products, especially. Those saturated fats are going to be tough for you. What else?
How do you stay whole food, plant-based while traveling? How do you prepare three meals while traveling?
Go to my website, drjoe.com, and type in, so what can I eat? And I break it down in there pretty clearly. I travel a lot, and I've never missed a meal. Now, you can bring food with you if you want to. Many times, I just go to grocery store, wherever I am. But I've lectured on cruises. I've lectured at conferences in Las Vegas. I've been to buffets. Long flights. I've never missed a meal. So listen to So What Can I Eat? We cover how to do that in there. And more questions after that, then send me an email. What else?
Some nutritionists promote organic coffee because of the many antioxidants. What are your thoughts?
If you're going to do coffee, it needs to be organic. I don't recommend coffee. But if you're going to do coffee, because 85% of you drink it, I'm going to recommend organic only. Does it have antioxidants in it? Yes. Does it have negative sides? Yes. Can I get those antioxidants elsewhere? Yes. Dr. Joe's Essential Source and Dr. Joe's Super Greens are amazing sources of antioxidants. I take it every day. I can't imagine why you're not if you're not. And that's a great source of antioxidants, plus fruits and vegetables. Coffee is a source, but it's not the source. So I don't drink coffee, and I'm fine. I'm always amazed. I was at a concert Friday night, 10,000 Maniacs, one of my favorite bands. And wherever I go, I get spotted. I don't know how people know what I look like because, unless they, watch my videos or something. And guy comes up to me, and he just was chatting my little ear off. And I'm like, I really want to hear this concert. And he says, man, I take the Super Greens, the Essential Source. I love them. They've changed my life. He says, my blood pressure was doing great when I took nitric oxide. I stopped taking it. Should I start taking it again? Well, if it worked when you took it and didn't work when you didn't take it, the answer was yes, you should take it. But Super Greens is an essential source, great source of antioxidants. Coffee, organic if you're going to do it. What else?
I've heard that hydrogen in water is amazingly healthy. Is that true?
I don't know. I've done research on it, and I've seen research on both sides, so I don't really have an opinion on hydrogen water yet, and I've never tried it. So I don't have an opinion on that yet. I don't think it's harmful. I haven't seen anything saying it's harmful. I just think a lot of the claims that it's making are exaggerated. That's to say the least. So I don't see a problem with trying it if you want to. So what else?
Which type of magnesium should I take? Aspirated oxide?
There's multiple different types of magnesium. Magnesium citrate is good for the bowels. Magnesium lactate is good for sleep. What I usually recommend is find a magnesium that has multiple different types in it, because each one does a slightly different thing. So if you get a mixed magnesium supplement, that would probably be the best thing for you. But again, if you take citrate by itself, it's probably going to give you diarrhea. So that's what they make milk of magnesia out of. Oh, that's where that word came from. Yes. What else, John?
Just a comment from a listener. They just bought stevia last night because of your talk show.
There you go. I should get a kickback from the stevia companies here. Yeah. Put my name on it. Ready for part 2, John?
That is all.
All right. Here we go. Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito. If you stayed with us, thank you. If you just joined us, welcome. What we're talking about today is how your digestive system is linked to your pain levels. And most people have never heard this concept before, and I've got so much to cover on this, I had no idea. The first part I talked about it, and I was done before I even got to what I wanted to discuss. But your stomach has one main job, and that job is to digest proteins. Now, your stomach takes protein, whether that protein comes from a steak or a carrot, and it looks like a ball of yarn. The stomach has enzymes in it, pepsin and pepsinogen and hydrochloric acid, and they kind of work together, and they unravel the protein and chop it up into something called amino acids. So there's 20 amino acids in the human diet. Now, the amino acid named tryptophan becomes serotonin in your brain. Serotonin makes you happy, helps you focus. If you have ADD, ADHD, anxiety, depression, many times we'll put you on a medication to utilize the little bit of serotonin that you have. What if we just made more serotonin? And the way you can help make serotonin is by fixing the digestive system. So physically, if the stomach is pushed up against the diaphragm, we can pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm and get the stomach to relax, and then mix the digestive enzymes with the proteins and break them into amino acids. The tryptophan goes into the small intestine, combines with something called vitamin B6, and creates a chemical called 5-HTP. 5-HTP then becomes serotonin in your brain. Serotonin calms you down and makes you happy. Serotonin becomes melatonin, which helps you sleep. Sleep is when the body heals. So if you're in pain, it's many times very difficult to sleep. I know I've had a traumatic brain injury. I have a traumatic brain injury. I broke my back. I've broken my arm twice. I've broken ribs. I played hard when I was a kid. So I understand how hard it is to sleep when you're in pain, but if you have enough melatonin, it can help get you to sleep so you heal faster. Now, we always thought melatonin was for sleep until recent research, and I found this out during COVID, that melatonin protects the mitochondria. That's the part of the cell that produces energy. And the cells, most of the cells have mitochondria in them, except red blood cells. And the mitochondria produces energy to make the cell more vital and function more efficiently. And the COVID virus would get into the cell and attack the mitochondria, so the mitochondria became weak. So the cell was weak, so the virus can then replicate itself. Again, that's not a lecture on COVID today. But we want to make sure that we have enough melatonin to protect the mitochondria so the mitochondria can generate electricity and you heal faster. So that's how, if you have heartburn, acid reflux, burping, gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, the digestive system, one way, can be linked into pain management. There's another amino acid called glutamine. Glutamine in small amounts is good for you. Too much glutamine, like monosodium glutamine, can be a problem. So glutamine, glutamic acid, becomes a GABA in your brain. GABA suppresses pain. So if you have not able to make the right amount of glutamine, you can't make the right GABA, and so you can't suppress the pain properly. So we can give you GABA as a medication, or what if we just made more GABA? How do we make more GABA? By fixing the digestive system. Pretty cool way of looking at things, isn't it? Now, tyrosine becomes dopamine. Dopamine gives you pleasure. Dopamine becomes norepinephrine, which gives you energy. And sometimes if we need to start moving around after an injury, we don't have the energy to do it. If we can fix the brain by giving it the nutrients that it needs, the brain is able to then start giving you the energy so you can get up and start moving again. So who would have ever thought that heartburn that you have, that gas, that bloating, that diarrhea, was actually contributing to your pain levels? Pretty wild, huh? Now, in order for tryptophan to become 5-HTP, you need something called vitamin B6. So from a supplement standpoint, when it comes to pain management, I put pretty much everybody on Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. Now, there's 2 of them. I take a scoop of each, I mix it with water, mix it with the amount of water that you like. I like it thick. I like to almost chew my Super Greens and Essential Source. Some people like it thinner. You can add a frozen banana to it. You can add coconut milk, almond milk, water if you want to, frozen berries. Mix it however you want to. Way back about 30 years ago, Alita Adams had a song called I Don't Care How You Get Here, Just Get Here. And that's, I don't care how you get the Super Greens and Essential Source in your body, just get them in your body. Some people sprinkle it on yogurt, dairy-free yogurt, of course. Some people mix it in with their oatmeal. If you're going to do oatmeal, make sure you do steel-cut oatmeal. That's the best one. So that's going to be very helpful. Omega-3 fatty acids are very important for inflammation, brain function, and they're called essential fatty acids. That means you have to get them from an outside source. Another supplement I take every single day is Dr. Joe's omega-3 fatty acids. They're on the website, drjoe.com. You have to make sure you're digesting your food properly. So if I eat a cooked meal, I take Dr. Joe's digestive enzymes because it helps break down my proteins into amino acids to produce neurotransmitters to help my brain work better. Now, if I eat a raw meal like a salad or something, I don't take the digestive enzymes. But if I eat cooked meals, let's some have a soup or something, I'm going to take a digestive enzyme. Dr. Joe's B complex. We pee out our B vitamins every day. We need to replace them. Most people don't. And so the B vitamins help with methylation. They help metabolize and let you utilize the food to convert it into energy. So it can help with metabolism. And vitamin B6 is necessary to create 5-HTP, to create serotonin, to create melatonin. So Super Green, Essential Source, omega-3 fatty acids, B complex, that's my go-to minimum supplements I would recommend everybody take, especially when it comes to pain management. Vitamin D, most of us are deficient in vitamin D, so I take Dr. Joe's vitamin D. If you take a vitamin D supplement, and a lot of you do, you may be doing it wrong. If you take a vitamin D supplement, make sure you have vitamin K2 with it, because vitamin D3 does a lot of things. Helps the immune system. One of the things it does, it helps you absorb calcium. And it takes calcium from the food and brings it into the blood. Vitamin K2 takes it from the blood and brings it into the bones. So if you're taking D3 without K2, you can actually increase your risk of heart disease by building up calcium inside the heart and in the blood vessels. So D3 with K2, vital. I take that every single day too. Nitric oxide can be important for pain management because nitric oxide brings circulation to the area. It opens up your blood vessels. So it brings nutrients throughout the body and then flushes out waste products. So if you have low blood pressure, don't take nitric oxide. If you have normal or high blood pressure, I love it. I take it every day. And it gives you so much energy, clarity of thought. It's part of the protocol we use for men and women when it comes to romantic dysfunction, ED and other issues, because it increases circulation to the private parts for men and women. So nitric oxide is one of those amazing, amazing supplements. I just think it's great. Gives you so much energy too and clarity of thought, but it can also help in the bedroom as well for men and women. Many men have tried the little blue pills and they have other issues. They try the nitric oxide and it helps. Now, that's not going to fix the whole problem in most cases. You got to check the nerve supply in the low back. That's the nerve supply to the sex organs. You got to change your diet to clean out the arteries. They're clogged up. You got to unclog them, and that's the main cause of ED. 50% of men over 40 have some type of ED. So, gentlemen, it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's something that you have to find out why. It's a symptom. It's telling you something's wrong. It's like a headache. It's like sciatica. It's like arm pain, back pain. That's not the problem. The problem is what's causing it. Constipation. That's not the problem. What's causing the constipation is the problem. So in our offices, we always try to get to the cause of the problem and not just treat the symptoms. So once again, if you're just joining us, we're talking about how digestion is directly linked to pain management. And it's never discussed. And I don't know why it's never discussed. Well, I know because it's not really what doctors are taught. And it's not their fault. I'm going to defend my colleagues on this. All my friends that are MDs, orthopedists, neurologists, neurosurgeons, general practitioners, gynecologists, whatever, I ask them, how much nutrition did you have in medical school? The answer is usually 1 class or 0. That's it. Nurses, same thing. So here we are, the people that are treating most of our sick people, doctors and nurses, have 0 training in nutrition or very little, and nutrition is probably the reason why they're treating the patient. It's an ironic twist. Elvis Presley said, I'm caught in a trap. And you are. They're not taught about nutrition, but they're treating people that have nutritional issues, so they don't know what to tell them. So they give them everything except the nutrition, which is the one thing that they needed, along with other things. I'm not saying that we have the cure-all for everything, but we definitely want to get to the cause of the problem and not just treat the symptoms. So if you have a health issue, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, blood pressure, cholesterol, let's see if there's a nutrition and or a chiropractic and or a digestive link to it. Make an appointment to come see us. Go to my website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. It will be a unique experience for you. I've had patients come in that have been all different types of doctors, chiropractors, medical doctors, orthos, neurologists, and they all say the same thing. I've never had any doctor ever first explain the way you just did or ever check the way you just did and certainly not treat the way you just did. So try something new. My father used to say, let's do something different. Let's do something different, and let's see if we can get better results. Go to my website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. It says right there on the homepage, scroll up just a little bit, it'll say book an appointment, pick your clinic that you want to come to, click an appointment. If you want to meet with me on the first visit, I only see patients in our Marietta office. A lot of patients will come meet with me for the first visit, and then they'll go see the other doctors, because all my doctors are handpicked by me, they're trained by me, and they're my doctors. They're the ones that take care of me and my family. So if I don't trust them taking care of me and my family, I don't trust them taking care of you. So you're in the hands, in my opinion, some of the finest human beings and doctors in the world. And people say it all the time, I've never had this type of treatment. Thank you. And we get great results in most cases too. So drjoe.com. Normally the first visit is $940. We've reduced that to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays, and a complete nutrition evaluation. I don't know anybody who's doing that at any price, much less $299. And then on the second visit, we'll go over your x-rays with you, do nutrition, and then say, okay, this is what we think is going to be best for you. Is it treatment with us? Maybe. Is it referral to another doctor? Maybe. Is it just a dietary change? Maybe. I don't know that. That's why we go through this whole big workup to try to find out what's going to be the best course of treatment for you. And we accept most insurances. Depends what they cover. It's not up to us. It's up to your insurance company. Car accidents, sports injuries, Medicare, VA, we treat the VA. Ambetter, we take Ambetter patients. So we always want to get to the cause of the problem. So stop suffering, drjoe.com. Let's see if we can take all this knowledge that I share with you and incorporate it into your specific plan. drjoe.com, drjoe.com. So if you're just tuning in, I am Dr. Joe Esposito. We're talking today about how digestion affects pain management. And this is something nobody's ever really talked about that I've ever heard. And I've been to a lot of conferences on pain management. I'm board certified in pain management. I'm the only chiropractor in the state board certified in pain management. And I've been to many conferences. Never has anyone ever talked about this at the length certainly you're getting today. Not even close. So if you have anxiety, that can raise your blood pressure, cause muscles to spasm, and that can increase your pain levels. Now, anxiety could be due to lack of the neurotransmitters that we just talked about. Serotonin, dopamine, GABA. So low serotonin is usually linked to anxiety. So if you have acid reflux or heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, the brain isn't working the best it can, and so it may increase the anxiety, which can increase your pain levels. Make sense? So fixing the gut, many times, let the bowels start working better, and the anxiety levels drop. If you're pregnant, of course, that can cause back pain. I was at a meeting the other day with a bunch of attorneys, and one of the assistants was there, and she pulled me aside. And she said, are you Dr. Joe? Like that guy, that Dr. Joe? I said, yeah. And I was here, are you that Dr. Joe? No, I'm another one, So I said, yeah. She goes, my back is killing me. And she points to her sacroiliac joint. She's pregnant. And she goes, I don't know what to do. And the doctors won't give me any medication because I'm pregnant. I said, well, when you're pregnant, your body releases a hormone called relaxin. And relaxin can make the ligaments become more looser. More looser, is that a word? And the ligaments can stretch and cause the bones to move out of place. And you're creating this to make room for the baby. You're going to stretch out the joints and the ligaments. And I said, I looked at her. It's a sacroiliac joint. It was real obvious. And I said, come see us. She goes, can you adjust pregnant women? I said, if I was Grand Poobah of the universe, it would be the law that all pregnant women have to get chiropractic care. Because it's not just about you at this point. It's about the baby. We want you as healthy as you can be so the baby is as healthy as they can be. And she looked at me and she said, well, no one's ever said that to me before. They just said, you're pregnant, deal with it. And I thought, why deal with it if you could fix it? And think about that for any of your healthcare problems. Why deal with it if there's an answer? So make an appointment, drjoe.com. She did make an appointment, by the way. So irritable bowel syndrome is very, very common, and I'm amazed how many people have it. And it's not something we talk about. It's not, conversation over dinner. Hey, I'm a little gassy today. It's not something we talk about. But digestive issues are a real serious issue. So irritable bowel syndrome is you have irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, colitis, and many times they're interdiagnosed because you got to do different tests to figure out which one it is. But the protocol for all of them is pretty much the same in my world. Cut out the wheat, cut out the dairy. Adjust the nerves in the low back that go to the bowels. Check to see if the stomach is up against the diaphragm. Check to see if the ileocecal valve is spasmed. And it's a little, it's a recipe. Check this, check this, check this, check this. And then we get people on Super Greens and Essential Source, which, of course, everybody should be taking anyway. If you're not doing that, I don't know why you're not. I can almost get angry with you because it's so easy. It's so quick. It tastes fine. Do it every day. Do it for 30 days. Do it for 60 days. See how you feel. If you don't like it, don't do it anymore. I've never had anybody come back and say, I'm not doing that anymore. They always say, I felt better. I forgot to order it. I need to go pick up some more. And we'll ship it to you if you want to. It's on the website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. We ship the same day or next day. Save a couple of bucks in shipping. Come by one of our offices, Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. Pick it up. And while you're there, get a consultation with us. How about that? So Super Greens and Essential Source, vital because it's easy to absorb nutrients. Doesn't irritate the bowels. It's great. Pulling the stomach away from the diaphragm, many times that solves the problem. Cutting out the wheat and the dairy, many times that solves the problem. Now, we could go deeper. We cut out the meat. We cut out the artificial sweetener, the alcohol. That certainly irritates the bowels, dries it up. That can be a problem. So we have different levels of where you want to go. Like I said, you don't have to do everything, but do something. Stop suffering, because it breaks my heart when I see people every single day suffering, knowing that their problem is probably an easy fix. I did a show last week, and I talked about going to a senior housing project, and my adopted family here in Georgia, they put their uncle in memory care. And I was devastated walking through this place. I've been there. I've been to places like this before, and I think I block it out because it's so horrible. Once that door locks behind you and you're in memory care, you're done. That's it. You're pretty much waiting to die. And it stunk, and these people didn't know where they were. They couldn't feed themselves. And a lot of that brain damage, that Alzheimer's, that brain damage occurred 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. They didn't eat the right diet. Maybe they had traumatic brain injury, didn't get it treated properly. Maybe they're in a car accident, sports injury. They got hit playing hockey. They banged their head in the attic. And then they have bad foods, alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, monosodium glutamate. And it just ate away at the brain over the years. And then you get something called amyloid plaques that build up. And then they say, well, we can determine if you're a candidate to get Alzheimer's, but we really don't know what to do about it. Well, I know that when you change a diet, it may have a profound impact. I'm not saying it will, but it's certainly worth a shot. So anyway, Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Essential Source, nitric oxide for brain function, omega-3 fatty acids, B vitamins. The protocols are very similar because these are main nutrients that the body needs, whether it's pain management, Alzheimer's, digestive issues. The protocols aren't all that different because there's a core amount of supplements that the body needs, and they're all on the website, drjoe.com. If you have questions, send them to me through the website, drjoe.com. Happy to answer them for you on any topic. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to tell you, I don't know that answer. Had somebody send me a question the other day. Want to know if a certain company was bought out by Bill Gates, and now we're using genetically modified apples. And I said, I don't know. I have no idea. So, but if I don't know the answer, I'm certainly going to tell you I don't know it. But I'll try to find it for you because I want to know it too. So we're talking today about how digestion affects pain management. And I wish everybody would do that. I wish all pain management doctors, a lot of them do, send their patients to me so we can do a nutrition workup on them. And let's get the digestive system working so we can get the production of neurotransmitters in the brain better so we can better manage the pain. And many times it is pain management. Do we always fix it? No. Can we manage it? Probably. So drjoe.com, and there's so much information there. I want to talk about something called acoustic wave therapy because this is so important for pain management. Kind of get off digestion for a second. Have you been told you have a joint wearing out? You have arthritis, spinal arthritis, hip, knee, shoulder? Many times, well, all times, if you have osteoarthritis, the joints are out of alignment, rubbing up against each other. That's called osteoarthritis. And a couple of treatments that most people don't do, which really makes sense because it's the cheapest and the most effective, put the bones back in place. First of all, adjust them back in place. And then we use something called acoustic wave therapy. It sends impulses into the joint, breaks up scar tissue, increases circulation, recruits stem cells into the area so the body can grow new tissue in the area. We can do something called PRP in some cases, and PRP is we take your blood, spin it down, and take out what's called the platelets and re-inject it back into the joint to stimulate new growth in the joint. So PRP and acoustic wave are just, they're match made in heaven. Sometimes you can do just acoustic wave. Had a patient the other day, and she had a knee issue, and she'd been to physical therapy for like 8 weeks, several times a week. It wasn't getting any better. And we did an adjustment on her and did cold laser. Cold laser sends light beams into the cell. Photobiomodulation is the fancy word for it. And it activates the mitochondria in the cell, and the mitochondria produce electricity and make the cells become healthier. And she said after one treatment with cold laser, she goes, I felt better. 8 weeks of the other treatments didn't help. Well, not saying the other treatments aren't good. They probably were good. But we have a variety of different treatments we can do. Chiropractic, realignments, acoustic wave, cold laser, nutrition. And so we always try to get to the cause of the problem and not just treat the symptoms. Another thing that can cause digestive problems and pain is your medication itself. If you take medication, even over-the-counter medication, ibuprofen, many people take that for headaches. They take it every day. When you come off it, you can get something called a rebound headache. What a rebound headache is you come off the medication, and then all of a sudden, bam, the pain comes back worse than it's ever been in many cases. And medication sometimes can cause constipation, which if you're just tuning in, go back and listen to this on my website, drjoe.com. We talked about how digestion is a direct link to pain. And so medications can cause constipation, and that's an issue. We have a supplement, actually. It's called Dr. Joe's Intestinal Formula. And you might want to consider that because it helps get the bowels moving. It's the only supplement we have that I don't want you to take forever. All the other ones, you're going to need them because your body's going to use them. You're going to need more. But I'll put people on my intestinal formulas, and we have a new one we just came out with. Try it. Tell me if you like it. Otherwise, we'll go back to the old one. And I want to fix the cause of the constipation, not just treat the symptoms. This is strictly treating the symptoms, but sometimes necessary. I'm not against that. So that's something to consider too. And all the supplements we talk about, Super Green, Essential Source, B-Complex, nitric oxide, omega-3 fatty acids, the intestinal formula. We have men's hormone support, women's hormone support, adrenal support. They're all on the website, drjoe.com, in the store section. Just click on store and it'll bring you right there. And we'll ship to you same day, next day. Cost-wise, a fraction of any other protocol that I know of. A fraction of a fraction of a fraction. Whether it's chiropractic, nutrition, working on the digestive system, supplements. I've seen supplements similar to ours 4 and 5 times the price. And they're not any better than ours. I know that. So I try to keep the cost available to everyone. If we have to raise it, we have to raise it because our prices are going up. So drjoe.com, great source of information. Send me questions through the website as well. I don't believe supplements are a luxury. I believe supplements are a necessity. Years ago, I thought it was a luxury. Now it's a necessity. And a lot of people taking these weight loss drugs right now, the ones that help you lose weight because they shut down your appetite. If you're not eating, you're not getting nutrients either. And now we're seeing long-term side effects of these things like brain issues, vision issues, digestive issues. And most people, when they come off it, start gaining weight right away too. So if you're going to lose the weight, great. Okay, I'm not going to argue with you, but at least get on a better protocol when you come off the medication so that you're healthy and you can keep the weight off. And even if you're taking it currently, at least Super Green's an essential source. Please, at least that. Omega-3 fatty acids for brain function, you have to get them from an outside source. You can't make them internally. Vitamin D is so important. B-complex is so important. Why wouldn't you give the body what it needs? If you bought a BMW, good car, what kind of gas you put in it? Premium, because it runs better. Why don't you put premium nutrients in your body? Many of you treat your car better than your own body. Folks, I'm almost out of time. If you have any questions, send them to me through my website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. Send me questions. Search the website. We have over 4,000 hours of content on the website. Type in the search bar what you're looking for. The supplements are all on the website. You can make an appointment on the website. If you follow me on social media, you're going to get pop-ups when I do podcasts, when I do live shows, when I do lectures. And if you sign up for our newsletter, which is on the website, that's really the ultimate of everything. You're going to get newsletters from us, but you're also we give away concert tickets. We've given away supplements in the past, books. So the newsletter really is the elite group. So you can sign up. If you don't like it, unsubscribe. It's just that we're never going to give your email address out. We're going to forget you ever existed if you unsubscribe. So again, a lot of information on the website, drjoe.com, but please make an appointment for you, your friends, and your family. I want to get you well. I want to keep you well. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, drjoe.com. We'll talk to you next time. I didn't get to all these notes. I covered a quarter of a page. I got so much good information here. Foods and symptoms and, anyway, I'm sorry. Part two. That's true. We could easily do a part two of this, yeah. John, do you have any questions for me from our amazing audience out there? Is the folate as folic acid in the essential source safe for someone with methylation, methylcobalamin? Yes, it's supposed to be folate. It's not supposed to be folic acid. When the labels were printed, they were wrong. So I have to go with saying it's folic acid, but it's folate. So you're okay with that? Yes. What else?
Are oral probiotics necessary? My holistic dentist prescribes them for me for dental microbiome health.
I take them every day, and you should too. There's so many supplements I want to talk about, but if I overwhelm people, they shut down. And I've learned this in 40 years. They just start to shut down, and that's not what I want. So I try to give them the basics and then kind of go from there.
Will the licorice root and essential source negatively affect someone that has hypertension?
No, you're perfectly fine with that. It's such a small amount, it's not going to have any impact on it. No one's ever had a problem with it. So if you do have hypertension, I'd recommend nitric oxide because nitric oxide opens up your blood vessels. So what else?
Is the acidity in citrus fruits a problem?
No, because the acidity in citrus fruits, they have buffers in there. They have nutrients in there, minerals that can buffer it. So it's not a big issue. Now, acidity in things like meats and dairy products don't have anything to buffer it. That's a problem. But the acidity in fruits and vegetables is fine. Now, if it gives you a little heartburn or something like that, you might want to cut it out until your body gets healthy enough to handle it. But generally speaking, no, it's not an issue. What else?
What is Dr. Joe's perfect meal?
Perfect meal or favorite meal? Perfect meal would be something raw, like a huge salad. I love ginger dressing. Ginger is an anti-inflammatory. It's also an aphrodisiac, so be careful. I've got a real good ginger dressing. It's in my first book that I ever wrote called Eating Right for the Health of It, but that's one of my favorites. So it would be a salad with a lot of different fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds in it. There's a place called Salata, and I have no connection to them whatsoever, but it's the cheapest, biggest salad you can find in town. And you get to pick what you want in it, and I just like put everything in, except the meats, of course, and everything like that. So my breakfast is always Super Greens and Essential Source. My supplements, a cup of tea. I love my tea. I love tea. I drink tea every day. And a couple of pieces of fruit, watermelon, meat. This morning was watermelon and peaches, actually. Lunch, I usually have a salad. All my tomatoes came in at once, so I had tomato salad today, and I'm almost getting sick of tomatoes, I'll be honest with you. And I still have about another week's worth of tomatoes to eat. And then dinner, I don't know. Dinner varies for me. And if I can skip dinner, I do. Because you want to do something called intermittent fasting. So last night I had tomato on Ezekiel bread and a tomato salad at 5 o'clock. And then I didn't eat again until 7 o'clock this morning. So 12, 14-hour intermittent fast. You want to do 12 to 14 hours minimum every single day. And here's what happens. The first couple of days, you're hungry. And then after that, you start to like it. I'm a little hungry. I feel good about that. I'm healthy. I'm feeling energetic. And you actually look forward to waking up in the morning, which is kind of cool. And I love waking up hungry. So that would be the perfect meal. My favorite meal is beef goulash with egg noodles. Haven't had it in 40 years, but that was my birthday meal when I was a kid. But my mother was German, my grandparents were German, and so beef goulash with a brown gravy and egg noodles. But I don't eat it because I know what it does to me. And again, you have to make a decision. Is it worth it? And the answer is no, it's not. So, and again, I'm sorry about that label error. When we ordered it, the manufacturer sent it to us, and they put the wrong label on it. And so we have to go with the fact that it says folic acid, although it is folate. So, all right, what else?
You've mentioned that coffee beans are heavily sprayed. Is the same thing true for tea leaves?
No, tea leaves are not sprayed very much, as a matter of fact. But tea leaves can absorb, black tea especially, or orange pekoe tea, can absorb aluminum from the soil, even the organic ones. So tea leaves, try to do organic if you can, but tea leaves usually aren't sprayed. But coffee beans are. And one of the things that it's sprayed with is fungicide, because coffee beans are picked and then stored for a long period of time. And then by the time they're, sent, roasted, whatever they do to them, that becomes the issue. So tea leaves are okay.
That is all.
Guys are awesome. Please, whatever platform you're on, please follow me on all the other platforms. Again, Facebook is the Dr. Joe Esposito. All the other ones are Dr. Joe Esposito. And I'll send you information. I want to be your doctor. Hopefully, I'll see you this week as a patient, even better. Thanks, guys, for being here, and we'll see you next week.